Okay, guys, look, um, I'm starting to get tuckered out from making these videos. Not in like a bad way, but just I really don't have much else to talk about. People. I guess I could talk about all the war. I could talk about that. I could talk about how aliens are supposed to come, or like whatever other fake stories are out there. But I will talk about the real thing versus the fake thing. Okay, so and why I've hid like a lot of the old videos because I know that I gave out a lot of free information on here, and I give a lot of perspective on here. And the reason I did that was because of God and a bunch of other like reasons and stuff like this. Right now, years ago, for people who don't know the story, basically I promised to like release like certain like little nuggets and stuff like that here and there as a promise to God, but then also it was like a little therapeutic too to talk about my story. And I'm kind of over it. I was like, I got over myself. I was like, okay, this is over now. I don't, you know, my mom passing away with me when I was younger is not as much of a story now. Even though people need to hear this, it's not really like bothering me. I've accomplished everything I wanted to do in my life. I've done everything I wanted to do at least. I can buy houses across the country with no money, a little bit of money, a lot of money. I can make millions of dollars if anytime I wanted to. I could be having sex with the hottest Instagram models, I guess, if I wanted to, or anybody else. Right? I could be doing anything, but I just want to have a family, right? And I've been doing that. And you see the little baby ball here, right? I've been doing that, and like at this point in my life, basically everything's just fine, right? And the reason I'm saying this is because you have to be careful listening to the wrong advice in life because it makes things like more complex for like no reason. Okay, it makes things just difficult for no reason, especially with President Trump in office. It's just very, it's like fake stressful. Okay, now what I'm saying, this dude he basically took over everybody's attention for the past 10 years of just stupid stuff. Like he's just been in the news for the past 10 years, just I guess traumatizing everybody because I'm like, when did this really happen? I'm like, okay, this happened around when Obama was over. They were doing whatever was in the background before, and maybe this stuff wasn't out as in the open before, but ever since he got into office, it's just been one nightmare after the other. If you believe this stuff, right? And we're talking about just always on the news, always on social media, always here, always there. And this is what he said today. This is what he said today. And while some people would think that this is like great, like a lot of people actually build their YouTube careers off of just him. They've their own media business, right? Because people are really looking for updates, they're looking for information, and is it's just crazy. So, what does this have to do with the video? Okay, over the years, basically, I've gotten like a lot of different advice on how I should do the channel, the reason why I should do the channel, and all the other stuff. But most of the people that basically do this stuff, like YouTube, or they do, and I made this video before too. Most of the people that do this stuff, they really don't know what's going on. They actually don't really know. I might probably the most qualified person to know what's going on, but I don't actively promote the channel properly. Like I don't do it on purpose, and it's because you really got to be like looking to find me. Like you have to like literally be looking and accidentally watch it and then watch the whole thing and then do the whole thing. Okay, now what? And that's not really on purpose, but I really don't want people to really kind of watch the channel almost, right? There's a reason why. When you like there was one time I remember my first viral video I did was around like 10,000 views or whatever, maybe 20,000 views. It was talking about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, of course. Why? Because people are actively looking for this. I'm going to take it to the whiteboard in a second, but I'm going to show you how you have to be careful talking about certain things. Not because it's yeah, there's like there's energy and stuff like that to it too, but it's really about what quality people are you bringing into your life? What kind of quality people, right? So first time I made that video was like maybe a couple years ago, and I was like, I mean, of course, it's simple. Just go to where people are looking for active information, comment on it, talk about it. You're building trust, and then you go from there. I mean, it's not that hard to talk about things. All you gotta do is then you have to have like a particular opinion on it. You have to be entertaining enough if you're going to be talking about that, right? Now, There were other viral videos I made, 50,000, 10,000, 20,000 at a time. And I'm like, okay, if you're getting those kinds of views, which is sounds cool, what quality person is coming into the store, right? And the whole point I made this is to just like leave little nuggets for people. I didn't really take. I never took this seriously. And the people who actually know me, they know like, oh, Carl's, yeah, he do well. He just doing whatever. I go online, I just rant all day. Everybody's fake, everybody's lying, or like I literally go on Facebook and just do that. I go on LinkedIn, everybody's fake, they're lying, everybody's lying. It's like, what kind of, like, this guy, basically I look crazy, basically, right? And let's get to the point of the video, okay? The point of the video is that you just have to really know what you're doing. If you don't really know what you're doing, you're going to just waste a lot of your time, okay? All of my stuff is just from about A to B. It's very simple shit. Just because you have a lot of followers doesn't really mean shit. Just because you have a lot of views, it doesn't really mean shit. Most people don't know how to make money. They don't know how to bring value. They don't know how to connect with people. They don't know how to have relationships. And it doesn't matter if you have 10,000 or 50,000 views. Some of these people, they still don't really know what they're doing. There's plenty of people online, on Instagram, and all this other stuff. What do? They have a bunch of cat videos, and the cat videos blew up. And they have millions of views and millions of followers. But guess what? You don't know how to serve your audience. It doesn't really matter. You don't know what you're doing. You just think you know what you're doing, but you don't know, right? And that is the condition of like probably about 90 to 80 to 90% of people. They think they know what they're doing, but they don't. Okay, and I'm not just being an asshole here. Okay, I'm actually just telling the truth. Most people just don't actually know what they're doing. They don't. Okay, even if they have millions of dollars, they still don't know what they're doing. Okay. Small example. There's people who have millions of dollars in business that do not know how to invest in general or real estate or whatever. I tell people very simple what it is. You just have relationships. All you're doing really is investing in relationships. And then the vehicle that you are investing in those relationships is like a house, or it's like a car, or it's like something else, right? It's like, okay, for example, I just got finished eating some jerk chicken from the Caribbean spot down the street, even though I have like the rice machine and the chicken or whatever. They got mumbo sauce. What's my relationship that somebody wanted to develop with me with the mumbo sauce? They want to know that, okay, they know I can get hungry. They know I might want some flavor. So they're going to create this sauce as a manifestation of my desire. Here it is. And then all you can do is strategically put me in front of it. And that's it, right? That's pretty much like the whole game. Now, that is the condition of the relationship. I talked about a lot of partnerships and friendships and a bunch of other stuff I talked about on here. Sometimes video games, that sometimes I partner with people because they like video games. It's like, okay, why? Because that's the nature of the relationship. The nature of the relationship is to be friends. If you're having a friendship relationship, you're probably going to be doing regular things like games, talking, hanging out. If you're having the nature of the relationship is based off of real estate, you're going to be talking about real estate. If the nature of the relationship is talking about business, you're going to be talking about that. If the nature of the relationship is talked about marketing, that's what the focus of the relationship is going to be. Yeah, you can talk about other things, but that's like the main thing. Okay. Now, how does this have to do with money, YouTube, success, and knowing like the real thing from the fake thing? Okay, I've like I said, I've made this before, but you have to kind of really understand what you're looking at, because people really don't know. They actually really don't know. And then people that have a lot of views sometimes think they know. You know what I'm saying? They think they know what's going on. Okay. All right. So people really don't understand. And I really just hate saying it like that. You got like a couple of different characters, okay? You got your first character here, which is like your wannabe YouTuber, right? And I remember growing up, this was like a bad term, like a wannabe. It's like, hey, I'm not, whatever. It's like you want to be a YouTuber, okay? You're like a wannabe, right? Now, what does that mean? You're basically so new, you don't have a clue. You probably had a job, which is nothing really wrong with that, but you're at your job and you want to do YouTube. And you're making videos, you're getting low views and low subs, and I also talk about situation too, because I want to talk about around 2008 compared to now, and what's really going on. Okay, because you, this stuff don't change. It's just really the characters may change, but the positions you really don't change. So you got your wannabe low subs, talk about topics, random stuff. It looks like I could actually be a wannabe, right? Because I don't really try, but the value is here if people want to look for it. But I'm not really actively doing anything. Okay. So these are the people that just talk about what they want to talk about. They may do like a screen record. It's just really bad, right? Then what you have here is you start to have the person who wants to become like this influencer or icon kind of person, right? So what they'll do is they'll basically start to just copy people, okay? They're just copying everybody, right? And they'll be talking about whatever. They'll maybe get high views sometimes, right? And then okay, they'll get high views sometimes, and then they'll also get like some subs, right? So basically, this is basically based off of people and their relationship off the individual. Then you have people who basically go like mega viral, right? You got megas, I call them mega, all right? And this is not like an evolution or something. These are just characters, okay, that you're going to watch or meet. After you watch this, you'll actually like pay more attention to what you're looking at. Okay, you got these mega characters, right? You got Mr. Beast. You have I Show Speed, like these kind of characters, right? With these characters, they're normally like funded, okay? They're normally funded by some external organization. They're not going to tell you, but they're funded, okay? That's the only reason you become mega is because you're artificially being pushed by YouTube, okay? And people trying to say you got to ride the algorithm and all this other stuff, that's a lie. People are lying, okay? They're lying. And you have to know that they're lying. If otherwise, you'll also think that the characters like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or anybody in government positions are actually just genuinely rich people just because they're rich. No, they're rich because they know somebody and they're getting pushed or selected focus. Like Candace Owens, I didn't know who Candace Owens was. She's a selected operative. There's other people who are selected operatives. Why? Because they have an artificial audience that pays attention to them over and over and over. Like, for example, I think the White House posted and Plagueis, I'm only talking about this stuff only for the sake of understanding and education, and at this time in this video, because you can be watching things and you don't really know what you're watching. If you don't really know what you're watching, you're going to be wasting your time. You know what I'm saying here? Like, you don't really know what you're watching. So, for example, the White House, like right now, everybody should be hating the Trump administration, whether you like them or not. Everybody should be hating them. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The fact that you'll see 10,000 likes and then 13,000 laughs is enough proof in that data. Somewhere in that data that basically that doesn't make any sense. All you have to do is pay attention to people and their emotions. The war is hurting everybody. President Trump is annoying everybody. The administration is annoying everybody. Whether you like him or not, it's still annoying, right? So if it's annoying, why are these people still liking the post? Has to be fake. You understand? This is where fake followers come in, fake bots, fake comments. So a lot of this stuff you're seeing is not even real. So you have to know that, right? I'm not discrediting anybody either, right? Because I'll say this too before I really go into this, okay? I had an old partner. We used to talk about real estate a lot and a bunch of other stuff. And when I would try to tell him these things, he would just think I was like hating or like something else. I'm like, no, it's like there's something else happening here, and I can't put my finger on it, but there's something else happening. Because I know people. That's all that really matters at the end of the day, is that you understand humans. That's it. Like, it doesn't really matter what you want to think and what you want to tell yourself. What matters is X, right? So a good example, which I was going to bring up, was 2008. Then we'll go back into the topic. I think it was around 2020 or 2021. I was trying to figure out how everybody got rich in real estate because it really didn't make any sense to me, right? And when I was already investing, I was asking him, like, I mean, can you tell me what you're doing, or like tell me what other people are doing? He told me, and I'm like, okay, well, this really doesn't really make any sense because they're not doing this. These people are not doing that. That's not happening here, and this is not happening here. So somebody's wrong, right? And he's like, look, man, I really don't know this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And I'm pretty sure to him, it was just like, oh, you're focusing on this too much. You need to be focused on getting money. That's how he is. I'm not really like that. I don't really care about the money at all. I don't really care about the glory. I don't usually use more money glory guy, right? And I'm like, look, I just care about just knowing what's going on, and then I'll pick my own lane, which is how I even come up with the strategies I come up with, because I actually know what's happening. I can say, okay, this is this. I just point it out. Once you point it out, you can't unsee it. So around 2000, I was asking him about 2008. I'm like, okay, it seems like everybody got rich around 2008, which they did. Okay, a couple of people bought properties back in the huge financial crisis, and the properties went up in value so much to the point where because of the next planned events that have happened, what do you call it, the pandemic or plandemic or whatever you want to call it, they basically have increased the home values because they're basically printing the dollar out of existence. So by default, all those people got rich by accident. Okay, it's not like it's real strategy. And I want to be clear, I'm not diminishing anybody's success, but you have to know these things. And if you don't know this, you're going to then listen to the wrong person, and then you're going to get got. Okay, now it took me a while to figure it out. I was like, okay, around 2008, this is what happened. And you see a lot of the people, they were teaching real estate courses. You don't really see anybody teaching real estate now, because nobody really knows what they're doing. Only select few people actually know what they're doing. Not that many people know what they're doing, and you have to be doing that business for years. And you have to understand business in general, and you have to understand marketing, and you have to understand financing, you have to understand the market, you have to understand whether or not, Trump is going to do something or not going to do something. Like right now, I was talking about how Trump is strategically not lowering prices for houses, which you can't lower prices because it's really, there's no rules on this stuff. It's just what people think is going on, right? You have to tell people, hey, prices are going down, and they're really not, but you're just saying it because people will feel like it, and then they'll go buy. That's what's really going on here, right? So it's all fake, right? And that's why we yell online, oh, it's all fake and gay, oh my goodness, right? So around 2008, a bunch of characters buy these properties, they fix them up, and then they realize that, oh, this is like something's not right here. So what happens is some of the people didn't really get out in time before the next pandemic or whatever it is, but they strategically do these bankruptcies on purpose to basically purchase the properties, right? So they're basically just stealing people's properties, right? It's all a scam at the end of the day. Once you know it, it's all a scam, right? So but the whole thing is that if you understand that, you can basically position yourself properly, so that way you can then just own the property and not really kind of worry about the scam, because you're not playing that game, you're playing a different game. And that's really the difference between being a rich person and a wealthy person, is that you actually understand the game enough to adjust to the reality versus the fake reality that everybody else is in, right? Which is the whole thing. So, long story short, we used to go back and forth on that a lot. I was like, look, man, something just doesn't seem right here. Later on, I figured out what it was, and a lot of the people didn't know what they're doing. They're out of business now. Okay, all those people are out of business. All those people are still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to do something, because during the time of the pandemic, that's also another time, which is around 2019-ish or 2020, when those lockdowns happened. Everybody was at home, everybody's minding their business, but guess what? That's also an opportunity now for people to basically ramp up their marketing, because all the attention is on the computer. All the attention is on these selected topics. They're talking about Trump. This is how Meet Kevin blew up. Meet Kevin, a couple other characters, but mainly Meet Kevin. He just kept talking about stimulus checks. Every video was a stimulus check. But he would not be successful without that moment, right? And this is also where you're talking about these times and stuff like this, where I'm not saying he doesn't know he actually knows what he's doing in business and stuff like that, but I'm just giving an example of history, right? So if you don't really understand the history of it, you're not really going to understand the real thing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to understand it from a fake perspective and be like, anybody can be successful, anybody can do it. You need to look at what time they got successful, the reason why they got successful, how simple it was or how easy it was. And I don't ever really remember seeing Meet Kevin make any paid marketing. I don't remember him doing any paid marketing. Right? He just would go on to other podcasts when people were watching podcasts all day, trying to figure it out around 2020. Now I don't think people are watching how they used to, because everybody's back at work. They got jobs. Nobody cares anymore. They don't really care about being successful in that manner anymore. They care about freedom, right? Okay, so let's go back to the video. So, all right, I'll bring this up real quick. Chosen, good morning, good brother. All right. So, you got these mega influencers. So basically, I just found out recently that these characters are funded by, they're funded, right? And not by marketers. They're actually funded by the government sometimes. Okay, they get funded by the government. Now, why? Because the government has an agenda they want to push, so they basically hire influencers or celebrities, right? It's the same thing, and these people are funded, so that's how they're having 1 million followers and all this other stuff. But most of the time, they're broke. Okay, even though they are funded, most of the time they're broke. Most of the time, if they don't have a way to generate their own money. You also have these other characters who know how to make some money, so they might be making like 5K a month or like 10K a month from YouTube, but they'll just keep posting videos and topics and stuff like this, and they basically have a legitimate business, even though they're making 5 to 10K, which is nothing really wrong with this number. Okay, so these are like small guys, right? Small guys. And then you have other guys who are making around 30K, and basically 30K to 50K to 100K. Okay. And they talk about very particular topics, the same stuff, right? And it's just very particular, right? Like, I mean, it's just very particular. People talk about different things, but most of the time, you're either going to be mega. Like, what you're looking at online, though, is mega. You're looking at small guys. You're looking at these guys, which I don't really have a name for. They're just, I'll just call them influencers, because I really don't really know the name. But they might have something that they're selling, maybe, but primarily they're just living off of views, right? Because everybody doesn't actually know how to make money, so they all basically make like media companies, because they actually don't really know what they're doing. Okay, they don't know what they're doing. So what they'll do is they'll get basically like sponsors, which is nothing really wrong with that. And there's really nothing wrong with this strategy either, to be clear, but it's not really optimal. That's like the problem. Okay, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But they all make these like media companies. So it might be anime, could be talking about like, okay, what's a good a mega channel is like BPD podcast. If you don't understand, that's like a government operation that I don't understand, right? After you become successful enough, they're going to be like, hey, look, we need you to steer people this way. It's just the way the country's ran, right? You can't really like get upset with it. It's just the way it is. But if you thinking that you're going to watch that show and then learn about business, you have another thing coming. You're not going to learn anything about business. You just fake business. That's what everybody's learning, fake business the entire time. Okay. And I'm no offense. I like to, I don't actually like the show, but I like, what they're trying to do, I guess, right? They're trying to get people to grow their businesses. They're trying to get people involved and stuff like this. I get it. But you have to understand at some point, like there's certain characters that show up. Like if you're interviewing certain characters on a show, you have to understand it's basically like just regular news at that point. You're not really watching, educational content. You're just watching entertainment to some degree, right? So you have these guys, these influencer guys. Now, these are the guys who most people want to be, right? They want to be somewhere between 30K, 50K, and 100K, right? And this is where most people like aim for, right? But then you got your pocket guys like me, okay? Now, I don't really make content for this, right? Well, actually you got your pocket guys like me, right? I'm just doing this because I got nothing else to do. I'm bored, and I'm just kind of like, I want to give back to people and whatever, right? And I'll make between 300K to 5 million a year from not from this, but just from nothing, right? From just showing up online and then, hey, what's up, everybody? And just whatever, right? But not because of the rants or not because of the stuff I'm putting out. It's because I just know how to make money, right? Then you have your real guys, and these guys are going to be making between 100K and 30 million, okay, per year. And how many views do they have? 300 views at a time, 200 views at a time, 75 views at a time, 1,000 views at a time. Why? Because they're actually running a real business. Okay? There's a difference between running a media company and then running a real business. When you're running a real business, you want the right people to come watch the show. You don't want everybody to watch the show. Okay? You want the right people to watch the show, whatever it is, right? Like, for example, there was a time where I was going to make like the go high level content, which is like the CRM that I use, right? CRM is basically a customer relationship management tool, and it's basically a place where you keep all your customer lists, right? Let me 1 second. Speaking of that, so I got this property I'm like working on right now, and Just want to make sure that everything's going according to plan. All right. This person's they're supposed to come out and do the inspection. Okay. So, what do I mean by this? When you're doing a media company, it's all about getting views so that way you can then generate sponsors. So basically what they're doing is they're creating entertainment platforms so that way people can show up, run paid marketing, right? Like me, right? People like real guys, right? Real guys like me can show up and say, here's money, show your audience my product so that way I can get paid, right? That's like how it goes, okay? So let me bring this up. Okay, so how it goes is if you're a media company, people watch your channel, right? People watch your channel, and then I know that people watch your channel. So what I'll do, or people like me, or paid marketers, what we'll do is we'll give you like 10K or 30K or whatever the number is, and this person's going to do a segment or a plug inside their channel, right? So we're going to have a relationship. We're going to talk on the phone. This is basically how you connect with people like Mr. Beast. This is how you connect with people like, I guess whoever. I mean, I'm just saying his name, right? But the point is that, you know, they do a segment. They do a little brief segment, and then that should be driving sales to your business, right? It should be. Hey, go click the link below, use the Beast link, and this, that, and the other. It's basically a form of affiliate marketing or partnership or JVing, okay? I'm supposed to get money from this, and just like that, this $10,000 should turn into like 100,000 or 7,000 or whatever the number is, but it's just paid marketing or at the day. Okay, I'm paying them $10,000 in the expectation of return. I mean, not 7K, but like something that basically obviously like double this, triple this, or whatever the number is. This is all the strategy of media companies. Now, if they were real business owners, they'd also have their own products that they're selling. Okay. This is where basically courses and all this other stuff starts to come in. Now, you can make money off the courses, but the whole thing is that whether or not you're driving the right traffic to people who are going to buy the courses or people who are going to watch the channel so that way you can get the sponsorship, because these are two different kind of topics and channels. So the people who make the most money are the people who are the business owners that talk about the particular topic, right? And then guess what happens? They don't need advertising dollars. They don't need to do that, right? What they do is they're building a list of clients by making the content. As they build the list of clients, guess what they're doing? They then are selling their own product, and they're selling it for 10K, 20K, or more. It can be $1,000 to $10,000 too. Okay, it doesn't have to be like really high numbers, but the point is that you know how to target people properly. As the people who are watching the channel, that are they're watching this stuff, they're going through the process, they're getting educated on whatever their product is. Then they are buying, and just like that, you're buying your product or your thing, or they're working with you. Like, let's say you have a lawn care company, you're making content about here's how to fix your lawn, here's how to do X, Y, and Z, here's how to do this, here's how to do that. You're building your list. As you're building your list, they go through the CRM, they buy the thing, just like that. Now you can do repeat business. Boom. Okay, so that's like the difference, is that basically these people are in control of the money flow. Okay, here they're not in control because they have to basically go through guys like me to pay them. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes people really don't know, like they actually really don't know. So when you're talking to them, like I literally do marketing, but I don't really have like a lot of followers, and I don't really like do this stuff because I don't really care, right? And I don't really want online money right now. At least I didn't over the last maybe 3 or 4 years. I've never wanted the online money. I just wanted to figure out what was going on first. Then I started making my own money, and I was already doing real estate, but I started making my own money in my consulting business, which is doing good. I pay off all my bills at the beginning of the year. You guys already know this stuff, so it's like that's pretty much all there is to it. But you start to see that other people have other things that they want to do, which is they want to make 50,000 a month. They want to make 100 grand a month. They want to feel like they're alpha, or they want to feel like they're doing something. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but they're not making it about the clients. You understand here? They're making it about them. And this is where you start to have characters like, I'm not going to say their names, right? But just people, right? And you have to just be aware of this stuff. You have to be aware of who you're listening to, why you're listening to them, the reason why you're listening to them. And I know I post a lot of rants online. about this stuff, but I won't be able to do that soon because I just need to get paid, right? And I just want to make sure that people are enjoying the content while they have it, for free. The people who do like show up and accidentally watch, because those people, like anybody who's watched the show at all, your life has been changed. Like there's no way your life hasn't been changed. And I'm not being a jerk about that. Like it's impossible. It's impossible for you to watch the content I've been putting out and it not have an impact on your life. It's literally impossible, because I designed it that way on purpose. It's like, okay, a person going to look for this. Here's what is going to happen, and here's the transformation they're going to go through after watching the video. And it just comes from really just having a relationship with me, because anybody I talk to, you're going to have this kind of revelation or transformation, because you got to understand. It's like energy almost, right? It's like energy. You're looking for it. You're looking for this stuff. Now, if it's about money, I would do it a very particular way. Since it's not about money, it's about like transforming people and trying to have people figure out what's going on. It's something else, right? You're going to watch it, you're like, damn, I never really noticed that, or dang, I didn't really notice this, or whatever, because that's like the point of the video. The point of the video is to make you more aware. The point of these videos is to make you more aware. I'll tell you about my story, my life. You now become more aware. If you want to work with me, great, but it's not really made for you to work with me. It's made for just watch it. Just watch it. Hopefully it helps you and you can figure it out. Like, what do I need to talk about the dead scientists for? I don't need to talk about the dead scientists. I don't need to talk about movies. I don't really need to talk about this stuff because it's not really relevant to anything in my business at all. But it's relevant to people who are trying to figure out life. Because why? That's where they're at. That's where they're at. What are they paying attention to? They're paying attention to the dead scientists. They're paying attention to the real estate market. Like I don't know how many videos I can make. The real estate market is crazy right now. That could be the headline. Oh, right. And people click it and they watch it. Okay, well, what can I do to get more hot properties? Oh man, you're gonna have to do this now. Ooh, it's just playing along with this story, and I just don't want that for my life right now, right? But the point is that I will eventually be doing this stuff, which I always like take down the old videos, put up the new videos, and I'll be like, okay, I found something new, so let me like talk about that for a little while, and then I'll basically just not really like be serious, right? So the point of this is that you have to really know what you're looking at. If you don't, then you're just going to really wasting your time. You're literally going to be wasting your time. Like if I needed to make money from this, I wouldn't do it. And you have to just be careful who you're listening to, man. You got to be careful. You got to be careful, man. It's just me documenting my journey ultimately, but the whole point of me doing this is because we're all on the same journey, because you're going to see it for yourself, that you're like, man, this is the same thing. Like, yeah, it is. It's the same shit. If you're developing a media company, you can't really expect to make a ton of money unless you have a lot of constant watchers. How can you have the right watchers and the right audience if you not really making consistent topics? So like, okay, it's like the Super Bowl. Just because you got people watch, like the Super Bowl advertisements were like trash. It's trash. Like, and it goes to show that people don't understand what they're doing. They don't really know what they're doing. Most people just don't know what they're doing, and that's okay. But they just don't know. They just don't know, and they think you don't know, right? Like I actually know. I actually know what's going on. So, and I look like I don't know though. But if you're looking at things at face value, right? Anyways, like the point is that like, I can help clients get to $1 million or make multi-millions of dollars or whatever it is. This is like simple stuff, but most people still don't know. And it's important for you to know that they don't know. So that way you can just continue to do the real thing. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to have some apple juice and I'm going to take my herbs. And this morning I had a great sleep last night, as well as in general. But I'm still going down the spiritual journey, but the spiritual stuff is coming to an end soon too. So I'll just try to make this out there for you guys to try to have some nuggets before I like go into it, because you can't really leave this kind of information out. And I know I was going to make the channel, the power channel and all this other stuff. It's like, it's stupid. I can't do that anymore. Like I thought I was going to do that. I can't, I can't make the power videos because it's not good. They're not really like good videos. You have to like, meaning it's not good energy to put out there. It's better just to be a good person. I can talk about how you can do this trick and you can do this thing, and it's like, I don't need money that bad, man. It's not worth it. Not worth putting that energy out there, man. Life is funny, man. Anyways, I'm going to just basically keep buying these houses right now, and probably just try to get some more clients in the door. But just pay attention to this stuff, because I have not really been talking about like the business stuff like I used to, because of all the spiritual stuff. Because it's like new, right? And I'm like, it's just so much, man. It's so much, and if you do it wrong, then you're just gonna be wasting your time for years. You hear me? Years, decades and decades lost to nonsense. Be careful what you're listening to, and be careful who you're listening to, and criticisms, because once that happens, and I'll say this last part: having more views on this channel not really going to make a difference. It's just going to make me a target. It doesn't really matter how many people know me. I don't care how many people know me. I don't want to be a celebrity. I want the money so that way I can just mind my business, right? But not in this case, right? So when I talk to clients, it's just about money. That's it. Like, you not is it? We talking about money or not? No. Well, then I'm not talking to you. You know? And it's like, why? Well, because I don't want to just be nice to you. I want to get paid from you too, right? And yes, I'm about bringing value. Yes, I'm about having relationships. But I'm not, like, there's more people who are trying to get shit for free than they are trying to do business. And a good example is that, like, I made that BPD video talking about, like, Petra Bay David and Adam. You got all these, like, regular ass people, like, coming, showing up. Hey, you don't sound like you're professional. And I'm like, it's basically like they got the lowest of the low watching the video. I'm like, come on, man. Like, hey, this doesn't make any sense because of, are you watching the video or not, man? That's why I said I'd make the videos very particularly so certain people can snap out of it, right? So certain people can be like, oh shit, like, this is what's going on. Like, you gotta find this shit by accident. That's the only way you're gonna find these videos. You gotta literally find it by accident. You have to look hard enough and be like, what's this? And then you're gonna be like, oh snap, because you're gonna really figure out that this is the truth. You're gonna figure out the truth, right? But you gotta look for it, right? So it's like, you gotta really be sick of everything in order to find these videos. You gotta be like, just sick of this shit entirely. You gotta be sick of it, because you had to already have been abused, or you had to, like, figure out something. You're like, what the fuck, right? You got to, like, figure this stuff out. Because I talk about everything: money, business, real estate. Like, I talk about all this stuff. It's like, it's really simple, but the issue is that most people are conditioned to not know reality, and when you don't, then you're fucked. But, that's what they like, right? They're still, anyways, I don't know. That's it. That's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day, and I might make one more video, but I think I'm actually getting tired of actually making these videos again. So that's how I know, like, to start hiding the videos again. That's how I start knowing this stuff. So just get as much enjoyment as you can, and this is it, man. So this is it. I don't have nothing else. I got nothing else in the chamber right now. So I'll see you later.